Hello Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke here with True Gamer Goggles, and today we have another flip through for you. This flip through is for the Inner Sea Gods, part of the Pathfinder campaign setting. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you a couple things about this book. They attempted to do something, and I think they succeeded. I'll tell you what that is later. This is not going to be like one of our normal flip throughs. I'm not going to pause all over the book because there's a ton of content in this book. And I've heard some people say that the book's not for them because it's too focused on religion and deity. And I go, after reading this book from cover to cover, that is not what this book is about. That is what they did, but they wanted to do something else with it. I think they succeeded. And if you hear me out as we go through this, you're going to understand. Now, basically, there's 100 deities in this book, and or so. And what they do is they start off right at the beginning, table of contents, just like they do. Of course, you're going to find the art that is typical of the Pathfinder universe. And then the introduction, which is a pretty good read. It gives you some background information and a few other things that could be interesting. There's even a little reference section of what other books they use in reference to. And then chapter 1 is the deities. This is basically the core deities. A lot of these have been written about in the Pathfinder universe already. But what they do here is they take them and they go beyond that which they have already done. And we'll get into that in a second. We're going to talk about the Divine Mysteries first. And real quick, it talks about how to use the entries of the book. There's different sections. There's holy texts. There's holidays. There's relations. There's things for faithful characters, which is key. What you can also start seeing up here, well, you got the introduction to each deity. You've got paladin and anti-paladin code. So what is the paladin of this or the anti-paladin of this? How do they react? What decisions do they make? How does the deity influence them in their life? And it goes down to temples and shrines, priests, and adventurers. And basically the book goes through all the 20 deities, and each of the core 20 or core whatever has about 6 pages of information on that particular deity. One other thing that they do in this book that's pretty unique is it's not so much unique, but they set out with the goal of doing something, which you can see the way they laid it out. Coming back to, because it's on so many pages, we'll go here. We'll start here. You can see right here what they're kind of doing. You've got the church, which in a theology sense, or from any point of view, is the body of the believers. And then you have temples and shrines, and then you have the priest's role, and how the priest fits in with that. And I don't know how the priest fits in with all of the above, but how the priest fits into the gaming world. So you can see kind of what I'm getting at here. Paizo went and they took what book is normally stereotypical of deities that are often race-specific, which in the Inner Sea, they are not. The world of Galaria, they actually are a lot more like modern-day religions where the deity, the Christ figure, or the Buddha figure, accept all races. That is something that Pathfinder has done here, and I think that was brilliant. What they did by doing that is they opened it up to make every character have the potential of having faith. They did a great job of it, actually. You flip through the book and you see that the basic 20, or what goes beyond the basic 20 now, is well into, we're well into 70 pages, and they put a lot of time. They even put time into what the afterlife is like for those deities and what you could expect as a character. So I guess what I'm getting at is they took something that we have in our real lives, which is what my blog is about, blending real life with the gaming world. They took real life. Anybody who understands or has a faith can take their understanding of how faith works in reality and apply it to their character, who can now worship any deity. I mean, obviously, since they've been writing about these deities for a long time, you've always had that ability. But what this book does is it takes it beyond the point of, oh, I'm a priest of Nethys. and says, I'm a follower of Nethys. There's all kinds of priests in Christianity. There's Catholic priests, there's deacons, there's all kinds of different things. But there's also the people that are the body of that church that go out and, well, they live the life of Christ. Whereas now, in Pathfinder, you can apply that. And that is really kind of critical when you really get into the heart of role-playing and you start to understand that role-playing is something that will revolves around your character. These characters will have something to fall back on to help them influence their lives now. Any character that aligns themselves with a deity. Now, when you move on beyond the and get into the other deities, you can see that they are 2 to a page. So there's a lot less material in them. And then chapter 3, you get into options. You get into the power of the gods, feats, religious traits, magic items, and subdomains. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, although being a Christian and being somebody who studied theology, I'm a little fond of the evangelist. And I'm not preaching here. I'm just letting you know that I can apply what I learned to what they did and see what they tried to accomplish. There's plenty of feats in this book, probably about 60. Some of them are really good. Bestow Hope is probably one of my favorites. When you heal a creature by channeling positive energy, you also relieve its fear. I'm fond of stuff like that. Then they have new spells in the book. Of course, there's great art. New weapons, these are altars, which altars are pretty cool. They're, I guess you could say, a magic item that's set to a location that helps channel the power of the deity into the game world from the other plane of existence, we'll say. And you have weapons and equipment and armor, as you do in many campaign setting books. I'm a little bit fond of the Dawnfire, which is a +1 scimitar. It has a twisted hilt that evokes a stylized version of Serene's holy symbol to redeem the repentant and consume the unremorseful. Once per day, the wielder can use spell combat. And there's a few other abilities. It's just, I kind of like that little twist that it does. There's rings and wondrous items. There's a barbed pendant of Asmodeus in here. But one of the cooler things is the Servitors chapter, which is a chapter, basically it's a bestiary of the gods. It's their messengers, it's the creatures that they use to deal with humanity, we'll call it, in a sense of all of the different races that are within Galaria. We'll call it humanity today. And, a lot of these, some of these are, simple like CR4s, but others are a lot tougher like this. You wouldn't think this little mosquito-looking thing is a CR15, but it is. One other thing of note that I wanted to draw your attention to is the geekness that they have in this book, which is the appendix, which is massive. It starts on page 316. It has all the core deities, all the other deities, and it goes right across and lists deity, alignment, title, areas of concern, domains, subdomains, weapon, symbol, sacred animal, and sacred colors. And that carries through the rest of the book to page 330 something. 329. Ends on 330, and then of course you've got your append or your index, which is actually organized by you have the index here, and then it's organized by deities, and again by feats, altars, spells, magic armor. So you have several actual indexes in the back of this book. Again, it's not like my normal flip through, because I really think that in this case, what you get from the book isn't so much about what's in it. And it is full of content, don't get me wrong. It's great content. There's a ton of background material. But I think it's in the application of what you learn from it. They take all of these and they give you the information on how to take your character who might have, Aurori as their deity. And now that player can use this section of this book to go ahead and apply the things that they learn about Aurori and how they would influence a character's decisions in quote-unquote real life, in sense, while role-playing or acting. So it would influence how that character thinks and lives their life in the gaming world. And then, likewise, the GM can add consequences or play a little devil's advocate with you. This book takes the gaming up of every player, I think. There is something here in this book for every player and every character. This is a flip through with Matt Lemke from Through Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked what I had to say. It was a good book for me. I enjoyed reading it. I enjoy what they did and applied. I think that faith has always been a little bit lax in role-playing, and this is a great tool to get players to move in that direction. Please leave some comments for me. I'd love to chat with you. I will answer them as fast as I can. And subscribe to this channel, please. Have a good day. More RPG stuff next Thursday.